learning is look at questions where we're not just asked to calculate the distance or the midpoint or one of the things we've learned so far, like the gradient as well. We are going to look at when we are given those points and we may be missing a coordinate, or we have to make an equation to solve something. Okay, so we're going to do it a little, it's going to be a little bit different. It's not just going to be straightforward, but that's really going to help you and get you ready for the more challenging questions on those tests, because I know that, you know, the tests don't always have easy stuff. They always have something that's also challenging. Okay, so to get us going and to warm up, I want you to do question 1, and it is points A and B have coordinates 10 and 8 and 6 and 4. Calculate the coordinates of the midpoint of line segment AB. Okay, I'm going to leave you alone for about 2 minutes so that you can do that. Calculate the midpoint of AB. The coordinates for A are 10 and 8 and B 6 and 4. So where is the middle between those 2 points? We did that in lesson 2. So off you go. I'm going to be quiet now and let you think. Don't post answers yet. Just wait until I call for answers, please. Okay, right. As soon as you have your answer, pop it in the chat. Let's see. What is the midpoint of AB? Nice. So Lisa is saying 9 and 5, 8 and 6. Lashandre saying that. Sakile, Susan, 8 and 6. 8 and 6 for Lanello. 8 and Lanello changed his mind. Okay. Okay, 5 and 4. Okay, guys, let's see how we do this. If you remember from, you're saying I made a mistake? Oh, Lanello, no problem. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the x coordinates and average them out, right? So we're going to add them together and divide them by 2. And we're going to do the same with the y coordinates to get the midpoint. So we add them together and divide by 2. So that's 16 divided by 2, and that is 12 divided by 2. So that's going to give me a midpoint coordinate, and I'm going to label it an M for midpoint. 16 over 2 is 8, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. Well done, everybody. Okay, now that we've woken up our brains, let's go on to question 2 and then also question 3. I'm going to give you another 2 minutes to do that. And hold your answers. Don't post them until I call for answers. Yes, well done, everyone. We know how to do the midpoint. 2 more, just to make sure that we have it in the bag. Okay, let's see. What are the answers for question 2? Pop it in the chat. Let's see. 5 and 4. 8 and 5, Wandile, maybe have another look there at your answer. 5 and 4. Remember, guys, we separate our coordinates with a semicolon. I know here we are missing it's actually a comma here, I see, in the question. Okay, so to do our midpoint, we're going to do 2 plus 8. So we're going to average the x coordinates out, and we're going to average the y coordinates out as well. And that's going to give me 10 divided by 2 and 8 divided by 2, which then gives me the midpoint, 5 and 4. Okay, excellent. Well done, everyone. Last one, question 3. We already got question 3. Sure, we are super fast this evening. Well done, everybody. Well done. Okay, so, okay, let's go. I'm going to do the answers. It seems like everyone's got it. Well done. 12 plus 4 divided by 2 and 7 plus 3 divided by 2. That's 16 over 2 is 8. And 10 divided by 2 is 5. Excellent. Well done. Okay. Right. Let's go on to this question. Where we are now. Okay, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Just have a look at the question and read through it. And as always, if you are a veteran, you know we post our reading face. So as soon as you've looked at the question, read through it, thought about what is being asked, then post your reading face. Okay, Masejo, you have a question. Let's hear. Oh, Masejo's taken his hand down. Okay, no problem. Okay, for those of you who are done reading, start thinking about how you're going to solve this. How you are going to solve this. What plan are you going to make to get an answer for this? And if you have a plan that you want to suggest, maybe put up your hand and share it with us. Let's hear if anyone's got a plan. As soon as you have some ideas, put your hand up and let's hear from you if what you think, how we can solve it. Oh, Mukukubale, well done. Let's hear. You can unmute.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good, ma'am. I'm not raising up my hand because of the answer. I just wanted to tell you that I have to leave the lesson because we have an emergency at home. I have to go somewhere. So can I catch up the lesson tomorrow?
Well, I think the recording will be up maybe by tomorrow, latest Saturday. Okay, but you can definitely catch up on the recording there.
Okay, thank you. Bye, ma'am.
Okay, bye. Okay, anyone else want to make a suggestion about how we're going to solve this? Let's think about what's given, what we have. We have the midpoint and one coordinate, but the other coordinate is unknown. So how are we going to solve for it? If we have the midpoint and the other point, how are we going to do it? So Babali says substitution. Substitution, yes, but into where? Kensani, let's hear from you.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi there.
I think we can add the 2 and 1 in the place of and then take the 2 and then write x plus x2 over 2 and then equals to the 2. And then for the y, take y1 plus y2 over 2 equals to 1. And then solve it.
Okay, good. I think I understand what you're saying. Yes. And then Imangi also says that they know. Do you want to put your hand up, Imangi, and tell us what you think? There we go. Hi, Imangi. You can unmute Imangi and tell us.
Hello, ma'am. Hello,
Hi.
Ma'am, I think we can like put take the coordinates like x and
Yeah.
add it with 1, like with the other coordinate 2. Let's say like example, ma'am, 2, and then you divide it by 2, and then you times, to get rid of 2, you times it by 2, and then you put it, and then you like take the other coordinate, like the x, and then you also times it by 2, because what you do on the left you do on the right. And then the other 2 cancels out, and then x plus that coordinate goes down, and then you take it to the other side, and then if it's a positive it becomes a negative, and then you like substitute it and then get your answer.
Okay.
I hope that makes sense.
If I understand you correctly, you're basically saying, let's make an equation using the midpoint formula. So we're going to say minus 3 plus that x that we don't know what its value is, and divided by 2. And we know that the midpoint is 2, so we make it equal to 2. And then we're going to times by 2, because like you say, to get rid of that 2, but what I do on one side, I must do on the other side. Okay, so minus 3 plus x, and then you just get another color here. So we times by 2 and times by 2. And because the 2's cancel here, the 2 is now gone. And then the 2 times 2 gives me 4. And then I can take the minus 3 to the other side by adding it. So I go plus 3. What I do on one side, I do on the other side. So then x is equal to 7. Okay, good. I think those were all good ideas. And I think those of you in the chat who posted some other things, I think you were on to the same thing. So just be careful. We can't use the distance formula because we are not calculating distance. We're going to get there just now, but we use the midpoint, right? So I've now helped you with the x coordinate. Now I want to see if you understood and can do the y coordinate on your own. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 minutes till about 21 minutes past 5. Solve for the y coordinate. Don't post your answer until I call for answers. See if you can do it. And remember, just try. Okay, I'll explain one more time. Here we have the minus 3 and the x. They come from here. If you look at your diagram, those two added together divided by 2 gives you the midpoint, this one here, the 2. So if you go minus 3 plus x divided by 2, that must give you the x coordinate of the midpoint, which is 2. You then make an equation and you solve for x, and then x is equal to 7. Now you can use that same thinking to solve for the y coordinate. Okay, give it a go. The solution is up on the board. We are just basically using the midpoint calculation or the midpoint formula. And we've done the x, now we need to do the y. We add 3 because it's minus 3 buchle. We're solving an equation. Don't post answers yet, guys. Let's wait. Just wait a little bit. I just want to give everyone a chance to think. Okay, if you are done, you can post your answer in the chat while I answer Georgia Lynn's question. Yes, Georgia Lynn.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Why are you adding +3 to the -3 and then the +4?
Because we need to get x by itself. So it's a -3. So we do the opposite. We add 3. What I do on one side, I must do on the other side. We're just solving the equation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Right. So for this one, we're going to say 2. This 2 from the A plus this y coordinate divided by 2 must give me -1 because that is the y coordinate of our midpoint. So that's -1. And I see people are getting many different answers, so please follow carefully. Let's see. So now we're going to times by the 2. So 2 plus y is a -2. So times by 2. What I do on one side, I must do on the other side. So now we're going to get the y by itself. So we subtract a 2. So -2 minus 2, y is -4. Okay. Well done, guys. There are a few of you that got the -4. Excellent. That's good stuff. Just make your corrections. Take a screenshot. If you didn't get the -4, I think where it might have gone wrong is maybe forgetting to times by the 2, or not sure, but check and just make a correction. -3, Alexandre, I'm not sure why, but make your correction. Take a screenshot if you need to. Okay, so that is when we have the midpoint and we have to solve for the coordinates of another point. Yes, Bonolo.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, I would love to know, why do we have to divide by 2?
Because of the midpoint, the two coordinates, the coordinates of A and B added together. Like if you go back to what we did in the first question, you see we calculated the midpoint, we averaged the two x's and the two y's. That's where it comes from. So if you take the A and the B, those two coordinates added together divided by 2 gives you the midpoint. So that's why we divide by 2.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Right. Any other questions? Yes, the midpoint you always divide by 2, Juliet. Okay. All right, guys. Let's move on to the distance. All right. So let's see. So important. Here we had the midpoint. So we use the midpoint formula to calculate the coordinates. Let's see now in this question what it says. Juliet, it's only 2 because it's the midpoint. Okay, so it'll always be 2 if you're working with the midpoint. Post your reading glasses once you've had a look at the question, and like last time, let's hear some plans. How will we do this? How will we solve this question? So those of you who are, come Chantal, we are not scared. We are brave. Let's do this. You have everything, I promise you, you have everything you need to solve this question. So those of you who are done reading, let's hear some ideas. How should we answer this? How should we solve this? So we've got 2 points, A and B. We are missing an x coordinate at A, but we do have the distance of AB. Okay, post in the chat, what do you think? How can we solve this? Or raise your hand and tell me, what do you think? If you could do the midpoint one, you can do this one for sure. Same thinking, same principle. Yes, you're right, Sianda. We are going to use the distance formula. Do you want to maybe put your hand up and tell us how? What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? Great. Sianda, you can unmute.
Hi, ma'am. So what we should do is make AB equal square root, and then inside the square root, we make bracket x2 minus x1 close bracket squared plus y2 minus y1 bracket squared.
Yeah.
And then in there, we would substitute. So the 3√5, we would put in the place of AB, and then inside the square root, we would put the 4 minus the x for the missing x that we have, and then a bracket squared, plus 1 minus 4 bracket squared.
Minus 4 squared. Wow,
Yeah.
Wonderful, Sianda. Excellent. Right, everyone else, all we are basically doing is setting up our distance formula, just like Sianda did, and then we substitute in the values that we have. Sianda, don't go away. We're going to solve this together.
Right.
Okay, so what should we do next?
To get rid of the square roots, we can we can make brackets and square on either side.
That's it. Okay. These square roots complicate matters. So let's get rid of them by squaring both sides. And you can put that into your calculator. Squaring 3√5, what do we get?
It's 45.
45. Good stuff. And then on this side, we have 4 minus x squared and 1 minus 4 squared. Okay, great. And what should we do next?
Okay, so what I did was I rewrote the line, but I simplified the second bracket, so I made it minus 3 squared. But if you solve that bracket out, the line becomes 45 equals bracket 4 minus x squared plus 9.
Yes, that's right. So that's plus 9.
And then to get rid of the 9,
Yeah.
minus 9 on either side. So 45 minus 9 equals 36.
Yeah.
Equals 4 minus x squared.
4 minus x squared. Excellent. Well done. And then?
To get rid of the square, I then square root either side.
That's it. So we have this bracket, 4 minus x squared, and we square root it. And yeah, so we square root it to get rid of the square. And what we do on one side, we do on the other side as well. We just have to remember that the square root of 36 can be +6 or -6. So we're going to have two answers because of that. So it's going to give us -6 is 4 minus x, or 6 is 4 minus x. Okay, and then we can solve for our x for both values. So we're going to take the 4 over. That's going to give me -10. That's minus x. Take the 4 over. That gives me 2 is minus x. So then here we have x is 10. And here we have x is minus 2. Excellent. Well done, Sienna. Thanks for helping us all with that one. That was very, very well done. Okay. Can I see in the chat, how are we doing there, everyone else? Just put a thumbs up if you are happy with that. If you understood. If you're putting a thumbs down in the chat, just ask a question. But Sianda explained it so nicely. Okay, Juliet, you must ask a question. I don't want to see teary faces. I want to see questions, Chantal. Okay, Sipokasi, you have a question. Let's hear your question.
Hi, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I wanted to ask if we had decided to substitute the squared into the brackets and we were to get oh wait, before we do that, if we were to my teacher taught me that like when you have the x as a negative, you multiply it by -1 in order to change it into a positive. So we would get it to be x x minus 4 squared, and then we substitute the square root, I mean the squared into the whole equation, and then we solve the whole equation after. So I wanted to know if that is right or
I think what you mean is that if you didn't go 4 minus x, so you didn't go b minus a, but you went a minus b, so that you got x minus 4, like that. Is that what you mean?
yes, ma'am.
And then you get 4
Yes,
minus 1. It will end up exactly the same, as long as you are consistent with the order. So if you do x minus 4 for the x's, then you must do 4 minus 1 for the y's. It's the same as like when we did gradient on Tuesday. It must just always follow the same order. So you should get the same answer. Okay, no problem. Okay, who's next? Juliet.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, and you?
Good.
Ma'am, so I wanted to ask, when we got -2 and +10, how did we get those two answers?
Okay, so I'm going to go back to this step here where we took the square root of 36. So the square root of 36, everyone, I see Kuchle is also asking about that. 36, the square root of 36 can be -6 or +6. Why? Because -6 times -6 gives you 36, and 6 times 6 also gives you 36. So for square root, you always have two answers, a positive and a negative, because of this fact here with the minus times minus making a plus. So that's why we got the -6 and the +6. And it's always going to be like that when you take a square root.
Okay. Ma'am. So when we get to this step, should we always square root?
Yeah, if you can. If you have a nice number like a 36 or a 49 or a 25, okay, then you can square root.
Okay, ma'am.
If you get a number that you can square root, yeah. Okay. All right, let's do one more, guys. So here's question A. I want you to try, even if you found this challenging, I do want you to try, even if you just started. So it says that CD is 5. Find the missing coordinate if C is 6 and minus 2 and D is X and 2. Do that question now, and I'm going to give you till 22 for that. If you have more questions, pop them in the chat. Let us know. And let me just zoom out a little bit so that you have the full answer. Okay. Okay, so if you are done, just hold your answer. I'm going to go through the question and you can then just check if you got it right in the end. Okay, so we set up our formula with our distance formula, and now we're going to substitute in what we have. CD is 5. We are going to do the 2x coordinates. So we do 6 minus x. Could have done them the other way around. Doesn't matter, we'll get the same answer. And then we've got minus 2 squared. Okay, to get rid of these square roots, I just complicate things, we square both sides. So that's 25. And you have 6 minus x squared. And then minus 2 is minus 4, and we're going to square that. Okay. So if you square the minus 4, you actually get 16. So we're going to simplify that, because that's easy to simplify, right? Because that's just negative 4 squared. And then we subtract the 16 on both sides. So if I subtract it here, I subtract it here, and then I get 25 minus 16 is 9. 6 minus x squared. Okay. And with that square, that bracket that's squared, we can square root that again. But when we square root the 9, we must remember that it can have 2 possible answers, because there's 2 numbers that multiply together to give you 9, minus 3 and 3. So minus 3 is equal to 6 minus x, and plus 3 is also equal to 6 minus x. We take the 6 over by subtracting it, so we go minus 6 and minus 6, that gives me minus 9, and then x is 9. And here we're going to subtract 6 as well, and that gives me minus 3 is minus x, and then x is 3. I want to see, put a thumbs up in the chat if you got that right.